the most marriageable voice actress? And I don't mean like Laura Bailey because of her silky smooth hair and her sapphire eyes. In all fairness, I've never even seen a picture of Laura Bailey. I would be completely useless in a police lineup. Like, I don't know if she has sapphire eyes or emerald eyes or heck, even rubies. No, the question I pose is which voice actor, by the way, that's what I will be referring to them for the rest of the video because that's what they refer to themselves as, has been in the most video games where you can marry them. To figure out this question, I thought of every game I could think of that has marriage. I pulled my friends, I hit up my Discord, and came up with 27 titles. Well, more like 27 and a half. Rune Factory 3 Special is a little weird. Anyway, I came up with over 400 data points, and I put it all into a little Google sheet, which I will go ahead and put in the description if you want to see some of the methodology. And, yeah, I tallied it all up. I looked at kind of 3 languages. Well, we'll say 2 because the Japanese seiyus. I was hoping to find like a duo of actors who constantly play each other's characters. Spoiler, I didn't find that, but what I did find was pretty interesting is that there's a lot more Japanese actresses. Like, there's only like 2 characters who had more than 3 roles on this list, with one notable exception. She'll definitely be in the running for the #1 spot. So crack open some Pringles, unwrap some Little Debbie snap cakes while we answer this ridiculous but very serious question. Who is the most marriageable voice actress? Let's get started.
Alright, let's just start out with the ones that only have 1 game, 1 voice actor, and move on from there. Valkyria Chronicles, Lisa and Will can get married. Uncharted, Elena and Drake get married. In the Dragon Age Inquisition DLC, the player can marry Sarah. And Scott says that Dark Souls 3's can have a wedding with Henri of Asteria, but that don't really seem like a wedding to me. And in Romancing Saga 2, I think there's a side quest that like lets you marry a mermaid or something. And Baldur's Gate 3, I think you can marry Shadowheart. Lysel, not technically, but whatever they got going on could be considered a common law marriage, but I'm definitely not gonna give a point to Karlach, at least not from the cutscenes that I've seen. Now let's move on to Divinity Dragon Commander. About a third into the game, you get to choose a bride. And then out of all the marriages in all the games we're gonna talk about, these are the most in-depth. These are Larian studio characters. Okay, I have 86 hours in this game, and I'd say that I've seen maybe half of the marriage situations. Not the dialogue, mind you, just the situation, because Larian Studios are made of insane people who are just so in-depth with their characters. That's why it pains me that we only get to add 4 names to the list. I'm willing to bet that their voice acting in this game alone is probably more than, like, entire actresses' wedding catalog combined. But each one only walks away with 1 point. Well, actually, I poured over their entire discography? Filmography. Is gamography a thing? I don't know, gamography, and I found something. Amy Shields, who plays Ophelia in Divinity Dragon Commander, also played Luna Freya in Final Fantasy 15. And then in like a post-credit scene, she marries Noctis. So I can give her a 2nd point, but that's actually where the points stop for Divinity. Actually, while researching this, I found something in Divinity that I'd like to count. Princess Zenthia.
Princess Zenthia of the Firelands is to be married.
I'd count this, but no matter how I searched, I just couldn't find her voice actor. If you know, please comment, that'd be great. Next up is The Sims, which is weird. Like, I don't know if this should count. I went with yes, because I've gotten a lot of marriages in The Sims. Also, this was that secret 3rd language I was kind of talking about. Like I categorized all the actors as either Japanese or English. But with these women, I felt it was only fair to categorize them as Simlish. And then I went and added everyone classified as a female sim, but not if they had the word child or teen. But I did let elder female sim in. But these names mostly end here. I mean, we do have Gary Lauer showing up in The Sims 1 and 2, but that's about it. With a notable mention of Hayden Walsh, who also plays Princess Bubblegum and Starfire, which is just wild. And let's also keep Alicia Gabrielli up here, because now we're moving on to Skyrim. Now, we could just end the video right here. Corey English voices 7 brides. Okay, GG, back it up. However, this didn't really sit right with me. Did Corey really give an individual performance for Brayla Merwin, and Camilla Valerius, and Jordis the Sword Maiden, and Muri, and Orla, and Silja, and Ysolda? I don't think so. And with what I understand from how Bethesda does their voice acting, you can't even give a good performance. But back to the voice actors. It didn't feel like I should give out so many points. After all, if you do get married in Skyrim, you get a lot of repeated dialogue. And it's even recycled between the actors. I've probably heard every single one of these women say, "It's a fine day with you around." I mean, every performance from Corey English is eager, young, female. Yeah, while studying this, I found out that each voice actor voices every character that falls into an archetype. All the condescending ones? April Stewart. All the orcs? Diane Louise Solinger. You want your very own lusty Aragonian maid? Mary Shavi, voiced by Renee Victor. The biggest shock, though, is Dark Elves, voiced by Lonnie Manila. This is Lonnie's only marriageable role. She is prolific. If you're watching this video, I can guarantee you have heard her voice before.
Right here, like, all of my games where she's had a voice in it. You should, like, go through her credits sometime. I bet you've got an even larger stack. But yeah, like Nancy Drew, Luke Triton, sex symbols like Ivy Valentine, Rouge the Bat, Bubsy 3D. In fact, I've got 2 signatures from her. Right here is like all of the cast of Sonic Adventure 2. And she voiced Mia. I'll probably just leave this poster here. It's going to be very relevant to my next video.
We all start out as babies, and then as days go by, we get a little older, and we're told we shouldn't cry. We go to school and trying to be cool, and then we graduate. Some of us might be mommies, others work, or even date. As we grow old, we wonder, were we smart or just a fool? Now some of us are back in diapers again, and others even drool.
But when it comes to marriage, we only got Janessa. But you know what? I'll take it. It's a fine day with her around. And while I'm singing the praises of individual actors, Skyrim brings up the saddest loss. Laura Bailey as Serena. Probably the only role here that could compete with the Dragon Commander wives. And while her cold vampire hands probably captured the heart of anyone who did the Dawnguard DLC, sadly, you can't marry a vampire. No priest would officiate it because God hates vampires for being alive. You might be able to use a crocodile, though. Alright, but with all the small games out of the way, there are 3 franchises that are really gonna fill out our list. The biggest point games are going to be from Rune Factory, Unicorn Overlord, and Fire Emblem. It was always going to be Fire Emblem. Granted, I am going to put them in completely wild order just to make the video a little more interesting. So let's start with the elephant from Animal Parade in the room. There's not voice acting in Harvest Moon. I know that in A Wonderful Life they had like weird noises from some of the characters, but nowhere I search can I find anyone willing to take credit. Not even from Murray's Moy. So, oddly enough, there will be no points from that. However, a Fantasy Harvest Moon? You betcha. Except this one. Only Japanese seiyus here. But they return in another game, so we'll get to them. Actually, Rune Factory 2 is completely in Japanese as well. I wonder if that's why we haven't got special versions yet. But can we talk about 3? There's something special about 3. Mainly being that some of the ladies were recast in 2023. And the saddest recast was the voices of Carmen, Sakia, and Shara. They were all originally voiced by Caitlin Glass. 230 anime credits, including everyone's teenage crush, Winry Rockbell. If I wanted to marry her, I'd have to dust off a 3DS and get this game? But you know what? If it's for Haruhi, it's worth it. No, who am I kidding? It's for Winry. The only other notable actors from 3 is Amber Lee Connors, who also shows up in Unicorn Overlord, and Cindy Robinson. Ooh, Cindy will get to you. Next up is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I love all the characters in 3 Houses. The Fire Emblem games really capture the big voice actors of the time. Also, aside from the Dragon Commander wives, this is probably the most voice acting you'll get out of a character. I think some of the main people to pay attention to from this release are Laura Post, Tara Platt, Xantha Hewen, Erica Mendez, and maybe Allegra Clark? but definitely Karen Strausman and Sayori Seto.
If you know why, it's obvious.
Let's go with another super big voice acted game, Engage. I have not played this game yet, and it was kind of a challenge to catalog with the most androgynous cast I've seen yet. Let's play a quick little game, okay? I'm gonna show you a character. You can try and guess if it's a boy or a girl. That is a man. That is a fella. That there, that's a gentleman. They are all bros. Especially the cutest girl in the game, Rosado.
Delicate as an orchid, fair as a cherry blossom. The personification of feminine grace. And a dude.
I am tempted to have my first run at this game be as a girl so I can marry Fair Rosado. But I found out that Anna is voiced by Monica Rial, who has over 400 anime credits. But unlike Caitlyn, I'm probably not gonna say which characters I'm crushing on. Let's just say Bulma, yeah? Yes, Tanya Degorachov, soon you and I will be together. However, fiscally sound Monica's Anna is a ton of fun, but this is her only marriageable role. The main actors to check out from Engage are once again Laura Post and Sayori Seto, but another big scorer has entered the fray, Christina V. Alright, now let's hop back on over to Rune Factory 4. There are some interesting ones here that only get like 1 or 2 on the list, like Cassandra Lee Morris, Laura Bailey, and Aaron Fitzgerald. And oddly enough, one of the Japanese seiyus with 3 names on the list, Hisako Kanemoto. But the biggest name that I want you to pay attention to here is Margaret's voice actor, Stephanie Sheh. But before we move on, I want your opinion on if Wendy Lee gets a point. Okay, so she's not marriageable in Rune Factory 4, but in RF4 Special, they added these little another story things, usually focusing on a story from like married life with all the brides. Venice Will has one, and it's the marriage ceremony. You can't play the game with her as your hot dragon waifu, but I mean, I mentioned that marriage ceremonies are the qualifier, and that is precisely what this is. I'm inclined to add her for the simple fact that it's Wendy Lee, Haruhi Suzumiya, and I've always had a crush on. Justice will prevail, just kidding. I don't know. Sound off in the comments if you think she should be allowed to sit at the table. Alright, since I'm still talking about anime voice actors, let's skip over to Unicorn Overlord with a whopping 32 marriageable females. A lot will be added here, but this is the first game where Alexis Tipton voices a marriageable character. Yes! I have wanted to marry a character with her voice since my bride is a mermaid! Despite the fact that there is a mermaid marriage on this list. Speaking of which, this adds Xanthi Hewen's 3rd credit, as well as Brianna Knickerbocker, Allegra Clark, and Erica Mendez. As for the ones I want you to keep your eye on, we add another point for Christy V and Karen Strausman. Wait. You can marry an owl? Sorry, Alexis, you're just not an owl. Alright, back on over to Rune Factory for number 5. This game had Alexis Tipton, just not as a candidate. But as for the candidates who have already made it onto this list, we got Christina V as Fuka, Erica Mendez was Scarlet, Julianne Taylor was Beatrice, and my beloved Ludmilla was portrayed by Brianna Knickerbocker. I don't really have anything else to say about Rune Factory 5, so let's move on to Frontiers. Frontiers was an odd one. A lot of seiyus have 2 credits because most of the Rune Factory 1 characters return in this one, but now they've got some English voice actors. But before I continue, can someone explain Iris to me? She's like a vampire, but there's like Blanche and Nor, and like, you click on her, and she's only got 1 wiki page, 2 Japanese voice actors, 1 English. Like, I mainly want to know, am I supposed to give Michelle Ruff 2 points or 1 point?
I read the entire wiki. I couldn't figure it out. By the way, this is probably the next game they should give the special treatment to. It's got a lot of really cool ideas in it, like vampire twins.
Anyway, for the purpose of our list, we give another point to Christy V and 2 points to Julianne Taylor. Alright, it's time to open the floodgates. We will be handling the 3DS Fire Emblems, and much like Nintendo, we'll start with Awakening. First, Tara Platt. She has 2 more roles with Muriel and Flavia. And add the 2nd time that you can marry Laura Bailey with Lucina. But before I add the big contenders, I gotta address Cindy Robinson. Okay, so she voiced Aversa, and we thank you for your service, but she also voiced Libra. yeah, Delga is a cherry blossom, Fair is an orchid, but both the English and the Japanese versions repurposed one of their voice actresses. So my question is, do I count this? The question I posed is, how many times can you marry the voice actress? And I can choose Robin female and take Libra as my husbandito. Or should I just bring back Sydney and Megami for the most marriageable voice actor video? I don't know. Once again, leave it in the comments. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time that I introduce our finalists. Each one is getting 2 from this game. We have Stephanie Sheh, Karen Strassman, Julie Ann Taylor, and Sayori Seto. And now we move to Fates, which is gonna add like a lot of characters. Like, seriously, almost everyone who had a role in this game, English or Japanese, voiced at least 2 characters. Also, Fates really muddies the water of this whole thing. Like Fates was screwy. I don't think you remember how screwy it was, especially if you're doing a list like this. Sayori Seto gets her 5th and 6th marriageable characters with Anna and Selena. Stephanie Sheh is also brought to 6 by adding 3 characters, Sophie, Baruka, and Rajat. Wait, she played all these Black Storm Clouds of Gloom and then turned around to play Little Miss Ball of Sunshine Margaret? Okay. Now, Julie Ann Taylor is brought to 7 characters by adding Flora and Kaldori. And Karen Strassman reaches 7 with 3 characters from Fates, Mozu, Hana, and Anna. Alright, the moment of truth has arrived. We've tallied up the points, sifted through countless love interests, and we're down to our finalists. With one final game to decide it all, who will claim the crown? Will it be the merchant with her sharp wit, the owl with her quiet wisdom, the princess with her regal charm, or the storm cloud hiding a silver lining? The most marriageable voice actor is Karen Strassman! With 2011's Rune Factory Ocean's 10 Bachelorettes, Karen lent her voice to the lovely Merwin. There are a couple of voice actors who get their second marriage credit from this game, but Karen Strassman wins. Maybe, kinda. I'm sure a few people have already sounded off in the comments about a few slightly unfair advantages that honestly I'm not even decided on yet. Alright, Karen. Actually, Sayori, you can come here too. We need to discuss this Anna business. Anna is a big running character, only missing from like 2 Fire Emblem titles. Her consistency has given both actors a ton of extra entries by reprising their roles. However, if we hold that against them, we also have to take a look at Stephanie and Julianne, Rajat and Tharja, Kaldori and Cordelia. See, I told you that Fate's muddied things up. Oh, and don't even get me started on Selena and Severa. Okay, so for this trial, I do need to say that each of these roles I've mentioned, they do marry different men. Robin, Corin, Byleth, whatever the frick that thing is. But the Annas, even though they look the most similar, it is mentioned in Awakening that each Anna is a distinct being, and they all have like a shared diary, so each new Anna can take it and just assume the place of their mother, grandmother, just the entire bloodline. But each one is distinct. I still don't know why Monica took over for Engaged though. But I think what matters is that they are different people. Now, and I hate to say this, let's discuss Fire Emblem Fates. In the game, we learned that Kaldori and Rajat are different beings. I like having Selena marry Tsubaki just to make her Kaldori's mom. But Rajat mentions that she's a reincarnation. She got born here just so she could follow Corin, since she knows that the player also played as Robin once. But I am willing to say that these are 4 distinct different characters. I don't think the same can be said for Inigo, Owain, and Selena. In a DLC, they mentioned that they are the original characters from Awakening, and they came to Fates because, I don't know, they won a popularity contest or something. I don't know, I wasn't freaking paying attention. If anyone should lose a credit, I don't think it should be the Annas, but the Severas. I don't know, you can try and convince me in the comments.
So there you have it, the most marriageable female voice actor. We've had a lot of roles in the running. Werewolves, elves, vampires, dragons, clerics, and commanders. It's been an incredible journey, and I hope that you had as much fun watching it as I had putting it together. Now, if this video does well, I'd love to follow it up with a male version, and there's a lot of competition out there. Let's be honest, I didn't marry Laura Bailey because she only had 2 options. I didn't marry her because I'm saving myself for Matthew Mercer. Oh, and before you go, if there's any marriages that I missed or a game that you think should have been on the list, go ahead and drop it in the comments and I'll update that Google Sheets that I'll put in the description. Keep it as accurate, comprehensive, and up-to-date as possible. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to do the stuff. Do the like, do the comment, do the subscribe. I got a plan for the Mia poster. Until then, happy gaming sessions and happy marriages. See ya.